About time me and you was introduced. You keep
When I started playing Jukes Towers of Hell almost 3 years ago, I couldn't have imagined how much I would grow as a player. Every tower seemed like a daunting task, but something made me stick with this game. Over time, I improved my skill, until I got good enough to start trying catastrophic towers. That brings us to Cruel Punishment, the hardest cannon tower, sitting on the border between catastrophic and horrific. The ultimate test of any J2 player. Being extremely long, it combines jumps and mechanics from a large variety of towers. As the name would suggest, this tower does not hold back with its punishment, as there is an outside section on every floor, along with instant kill bricks and inescapable pits. This is my journey through Tower of Cruel Punishment. Day 1 was exciting because it was the first day of grinding such an infamous tower. I set myself the goal to reach floor 4, as floors 1 to 3 aren't super hard, especially compared to the later floors. I definitely met my goal, reaching floor 4 a total of 8 times. Floor 4 is supposed to be the first roadblock of the tower, particularly because of its outside, yet I nearly passed it, reaching the ice jumps twice, which is near the end of the floor. Since the gameplay varies a lot, I foresee this being my most enjoyable catastrophic grind yet, even if I get unlucky with fails. Day 2 went better than expected. My goal for the day was to reach floor 6. My mentality was that if I reached 6 once, then I would be content with my progress for the day. The thing is, I didn't just reach 6 once, I reached it 4 times. My 4th run there, I got to floor 7. I didn't really practice 7 since I honestly didn't expect to pass 6 if I got to it, nor did I predict myself to have 4 runs to 6, so I ended up failing in the first layer of the soft block. I was happy with this though, because I overachieved on my goal. This day was also high in enjoyment as I made a big leap in progress, and the tower was still new to me. Day 3 had a rocky start with me loop failing 1 and 2. Fortunately, the rest of the day was great. soft block, soft block. I was happy with this though because I overachieved on my goal. This day was also high in enjoyment as I made a big leap in progress, and the tower was still new to me. Day 3 had a rocky start with me loop failing 1 and 2. A lot, but considering floor 7 is the second hardest floor of the tower, I was happy with this. Day 4 had a run early on that got to 7. I passed the softlock section this time too, but fell into insta-kill during the time section because the nerves were getting to me, causing me to mess up my camera control. I was able to get 2 more runs to 7, but sadly they both ended the same way, failing a ridiculously easy section at the start of the floor where all you do is hold W and occasionally D while turning. I wasn't sure why this happened, and to top things off I fell the part where you walk onto a truss at the end of 6, which also surprised me. My mood deteriorated because of this, so I didn't play for as long as the previous days. Nevertheless, I was still keeping up my streak of achieving a new personal best every single day. Day 5 was the first day I didn't get a new personal best. I got 1 run to 7, which ended at the soft block to an awkward stick hit. After that run, I couldn't make it anywhere in the tower, so I stopped playing. Day 6 was a wild day. I got to 7, eventually passing my personal best. Then I proceeded to have this crazy fluke. I failed the slider flick wraparound because Roblox physics suck and I hit my head on the ladder somehow, which I couldn't even replicate afterwards in practice. Then, like an idiot, I somehow didn't realize the kill bricks on top of 7 are actually ouch bricks, meaning they deal 20 damage a tick instead of 5. Because of this, I died since I jumped across them carelessly. This was probably my dumbest death ever I've had playing this game, but I thought to myself at least I won't make the same mistake twice. And hey, I fluked floor 8, so if I could keep this up then I could beat the tower within a week depending on how I do on floor 10. Day 7 was absolutely surreal. I got a run to 9, passed my personal best, then fell back down to right before the timed boxes on floor 8. They aren't very difficult, so I got back up and even managed to reach floor 10. I practiced 10 a lot, so I managed to fluke 10 inside even with the nerves. This was it, the final stretch, the last few minutes of gameplay before the win pad. Many runs that make it here end in failure, especially if it's your first one. Could I go against all odds and fluke the final stretch, which contains some of the hardest jumps on the tower? Sadly, as you can see, not all hopes come true. What? I got a couple jumps through before failing one of the easiest things on the outside, falling down to floor 8. I didn't manage to get back up, and to put salt in the wound, I fell from 6 because the moving ladder bugged out, and it switched directions when it's not supposed to. Day 8 was pretty unfortunate. I had a run that got to floor 8, which ended in me failing due to a genuinely hard jump. I got back, then failed the first jump of 8, which is ironically the hardest jump of the floor. After, I loop failed 6 and 7 mostly due to the same slanted ladder that the game wouldn't let me grab onto 3 times in a row near the end of the floor. It had happened to me in practice before, but I didn't expect it to randomly occur 3 times in a row. Day 9 was discouraging. The furthest I got to was floor 7. One of the 2 runs I had reached the first layer of the soft block, where I failed the same awkward stick out I had failed on day 5. Even with my progress slowing down, I knew that if I kept my spirits high and continued practicing, that I would get back to 9 or 10 soon. Day 10 was more discouraging than day 9, this time for a completely different reason. I got another run to the final stretch, where I proceeded to get stuck on the poles and still probably had enough time to make it to the truss. In the moment though, I panicked and figured the morpher had already shrunk down too small, and that I should just jump down to 8, avoiding the insta-kill that sits below, then try to get back up. I didn't get back up. The run ended because the arch bricks on top of 7 have these creases on them that if you stand on, they will damage you, even if you aren't moving. I had taken note of this, but I didn't notice it happening when I tried standing on them in practice. It was quite a rough way to go, especially considering I thought there's no way I would die to those arch bricks a second time, so I stopped playing shortly after. Day 11 didn't go as well in terms of progress with me failing the second half of 9 twice, however my mood was much improved from the previous day. I hoped that if I kept a good mindset and persisted with practicing that the win would soon follow. Day 12 was unreal. I got a run to the final stretch, but this time I didn't fail near the start. In fact, I kept going, passing the toughest jumps. I thought surely this was it. This was the run that was going to end in victory. Alas, I could not have been more wrong. No! Oh my god, there's no way. I failed the last morpher. If I hadn't failed, I was nearly guaranteed to win, as I was just a small handful of jumps away from the win pad. I fell back down to 8 and loop failed 8 to 10 for a while until I got another run to the final stretch. This time though, I failed a jump that sent me straight to the bottom. I was devastated. Reality was still setting in that I had failed one of the last jumps of the whole tower. This other fail only made me feel worse. It was gonna be hard to stay positive at this point. Day 13 was irritating. I had 2 final stretch runs. The first one I failed because I couldn't fit through the gap at the truss foot. Totally fair. The second one on the other hand felt completely out of my control. I saved myself twice on the platform after knowing I wouldn't be able to land the jump off the rising button. The third time though, I got put in a climbing animation on the button and shoved down to 8. Now I had the mindset that I'm basically rebeating the tower, because I felt like I could make it to the final stretch at least once every single day. I needed to both play well and not get bad luck due to bugs the devs choose not to fix, which is actually ridiculous. At this point, I wasn't even sure if I'd feel any excitement when I finally beat this tower, which is sad to say, but it's how I felt at the time. Day 14 was pretty bad. I only got up to floor 7 and then failed the nerfed 4-stud stick-out on the outside. Later on, I failed the end of 6 and didn't feel like playing anymore after that, so I stopped for the day. Day 15 had me get far again, unlike the previous day. Unfortunately, I did fail the final stretch again because I accidentally turned off shift lock due to nerves and couldn't fit through the gap. I at least saved on floor 7 this time, so the run wasn't completely over, but I didn't get back to the final stretch, messing up grabbing a ladder on 10 inside. Day 16 was boring for the most part. The most interesting run happened initially with me getting to the end of 9. Unfortunately, I failed a filler jump and couldn't get back up because of a ladder drop that happened to me on floor 6. The rest of the day didn't have any interesting runs besides a 7 run where I failed the soft lock section. Day 17 consisted of a ton of loop failing, my run lasting just over 2 hours before I decided to quit for the day, as I was exhausted mentally from playing the tower. Sadly, even with all the loop failing on the second half, the few 10 runs I had didn't even turn into a final stretch run, which was pretty disappointing. Day 18 was uneventful. My personal best for the day was the dropper, which I hadn't failed in a while, and of course it was due to me walking off. I also quickly lost motivation to keep playing. I hadn't played the tower for almost a week, so I was expecting to feel a bit rusty. The thing is, this was the complete opposite from the truth. I had reached the final stretch for the 8th time. Because of how much hard gameplay there is out here, along with the fact that I've been getting so unlucky, I had no expectations of this being the winning run. Well, I was wrong again. For some reason, not playing the tower for a bit made my nerves lessen while being far, so I was able to perform well and put all my focus on doing each jump one at a time and playing confidently. I kept going, reaching the same Morpher that had failed on my 3rd final stretch run. But this time, I passed it, leaving only a few easy jumps left until the wind pad. Was I gonna have an even worse fail, or would I finally succeed? Oh my god! Bro, there's no way! My heart was beating a million times a second. I had so many emotions flowing through me. I did it, after 19 days up against my toughest challenge yet. I had done what any new player could only dream of doing. This is it, my peak. There's no way I could possibly go for anything harder than this, right? The whole grind was streamed on YouTube and Twitch, so if you'd like to catch me live, you can do so Saturday and Sunday evening. I also want to give a huge thank you to those who VC'd with me during my grind, along with my chat. You were all so encouraging to me the whole way through. I couldn't have done it without you guys. Also, I would appreciate it a lot if you could like the video and subscribe, as it tells me you enjoy this style of content and want to see more of it. Well, until next time, see you all later. I